Hey guys, welcome to another video. Now, previously I made a video about characters I want in Record Keeper, but now that most of these characters are now in the game, or were already in the game prior to me narrating it, even though I've already made it some time ago, time for me to make some more characters I wanted in the game. Now, here's how I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to list a character, like one or more characters from each of different realms, what weapon we'll most likely be focusing on. Like, we could do anything else, just like the mostly relics will be around this weapon type, and more or less what skills or ability schools do I want in that character, and more or less what levels I want it in. And I'm going to mention which one out of these ability schools do I want this character to focus more on. I mean, a lot of the soul breaks or super moves they have in there will be around this ability school. Okay, so let's begin this. Final Fantasy I. Now, it's very easy for me to just say, hey, well, since the master monk is in the game, wanna add, let's say, the red wizard, the black wizard, white wizard, the ninja, but that would be too easy. However, I'm gonna put a character here that hasn't been really that important, and by the reason is because like this character doesn't even fight, and it's only there for like the beginning of the game, but it's quite important, so to say, because it's that early in the game, and it kind of needs a bit more relevance. And that character is, how do you pronounce it? Bick? Or Bike? Or BK? I don't care. Let's call him Bick. Anyway, Bick, he's a pirate. So in the, I believe in the second town of the game, you encounter a group of pirates, and you have to fight Bick's party of pirates in order to get the ship. So he's gonna be in the game. So the reason why I want him in the game because he's a freaking pirate, and I like pirates. They look so cool. So hey, I want to have a party of pirates. I mean, Faris is a pirate, and I think there's another pirate in the group. No, that's Brave Exvius. But let's add some more pirates in the game. Now, let's make this interesting with his weapon choices, right? I want his main weapon choice to be a gun. Now, this sounds weird coming from Final Fantasy I, which guns should not exist, but because he doesn't fight at all, why not add guns? So, taking liberties here. And let's make this interesting with the ability schools, right? I want his main ability school to be Thief, because he's a pirate. It makes sense contextually. And Shooter, of course, because, again, if you're using a gun, might as well have Shooter. Now, the cool thing is that Final Fantasy I has, like, a bit of a niche that its own characters don't have. There are no Spellbladers in Final Fantasy I, and there are no Machinists in Final Fantasy I. And if we're going to have someone, like, you know, with a ship, we might have a Machinist in there, so he'll have some Machinist 5. And let's make it interesting, because there's no Spellbladers in Final Fantasy I, and I would rather have, like, the Red Wizard if it's a playable character to have Spellblade. And considering there are 2 other red mages that are in this list that have Spellblade's main ability school, let's have him have Spellblade 4, Thief 5 is main class, Machine 5, and Shooter 5. I'm granted Shooter 5 should be the main class, but on Thief 5 because he's a pirate, it makes sense because he's a pirate. So that's 1. FF2. Now again, there are a lot of, I think every character that's kind of important to the story is in the game already. So again, we could have 2 Cid in there, and consider a bit more Cids in the list. That's not. So instead, let's take the last important character in the entire story, Princess Hilda. Now, how do you do the Princess Hilda thing? I'd say probably similarly to Princess Sarah from 1. I think that's probably the best thing to go for her. Since, again, she doesn't fight, she really just, like, stands there in her throne, if not gets kidnapped. So, let's have her be more or less similar to Princess Sarah. Her main weapon will be a rod, and her main ability school will be Bard. Because why not? Her main ability school Bard. I think there are no Bards in FF2. If I'm right. Yeah, there are no Bards in FF2, so you can have her be a Bard. So, and her other ability would be like White 4, because Rory Hadmin was a white mage, and Gordon has White 4 in him. And I'm gonna reference Gordon quite a bit too, because I also have White 4, Bard 5, Support 5, which is also the main school for Gordon, and considering how that wimp ends up being her husband, so that's why not. Also, why not Witch 5? So, which ability school? And by which I mean the witches that cast magic stuff. That witch. So why not? Because, hey, we're gonna have something there, and the Emperor's a dude, so we can't have that. Have him be witch. Well, then ain't Tyro, but Tyro or anything. So that's Princess Hilda. That's where do I want of her. FF3. Ever freaking since, what, 2000... Was it 6, 7, or 8? I don't remember, like, several, like, before 2010, I did this thing with creating a Dissidia moveset on the Final Fantasy Wiki for all sorts of characters, and the one character that keeps getting stuck in me is, like, my magnum opus. Well, technically I know this is Ramza, however, he's now in the arcade game, but my magnum opus, so to say, is the Warrior of Darkness, which is a side character for the end of FF3, which if you go beat the 4 bosses prior to the Cloud of Darkness, each of those end up turning into one of the Warriors of Darkness that ends up being turned into the monsters by the Cloud of Darkness. So they end up helping you beat the Cloud of Darkness by doing this thing in which they weaken it, so you guys can kill it. So that's the Warrior of Darkness. And I kind of wanted him to be in the city moves that I kind of made it similar to the Warrior Light, sort of. In which I have like an incredible balance of physical, special, and otherwise dark-ish moves. So, of course, his main ability class is dark, because he's called the Warrior of Darkness. It makes complete sense. But his ability schools, I want to be more like Wall or the Warrior of Light, which have a ton of stuff. So, because he's more like a balanced character, he can do all sorts of things. But again, he's mostly physical. Black 3, White 3, I think that's a nice compromise of magic uses, even though at this point Black 5 and White 4 are the only really necessary ones. Spellblade 4, because again, I don't think there are any Spellbladers in 3, if I remember right. I'm gonna look at it a bit. Yeah, the Luna's a Spellblader, but you have to like die for him to get a Spellblader. So, and Death for some reason a Spellblader, a bit of a Spellblader, even though he's a mage. So I would say Spellblade 4, not 5. We could make kind of a different character be 5, if necessary. If not, put him be Spellblade 5. Combat 5, because of course. Knight 4, Samurai 5, because I kind of wanted him to be more of a samurai type of things. And Ninja 4, Dark 5. And his main weapon be Katana. Because, let's try to make it something different from the other FF3 guys, which mostly like swords, or magic, or that sort of thing. So let's make him Katana, that's his main weapon. And be more samurai, but his main thing is dark because that's just part of his name. Alternatively, I got another FF3 character, a character that makes sense given FF3 and the track record of Record Keeper adding FF3 characters. FF3 in Record Keeper, they've added, of course, the main guys from FF3DS and then later Onion Knight, and then they added a dude named Dash, which is a temporary character from the early FF3, and then they put the Cloud of Darkness because of course you gotta have her there. Or it. And then they're going to soon release Arya from FF3, which, again, another temporary playable character. And she's a white mage, even though we have although Arg is a white mage. So, the next temporary playable character is Sid Hayes. Now, being a Sid, you would think that, okay, so what kind of crazy machine stuff he'll be up to? Again, airship stuff, because they use Sid Hayes. Because most Sids have to do with, not all Sids, but a good, more memorable Sids have to do with airships and other crafts and like. Machinist will be his main class, and his main weapon's a hammer because he wields a hammer in FF3. Black 4 because he actually does use magic, mostly fire magic, while he's temporarily playable, so it makes sense he have White 4. White 3, I don't remember why. I think that does do Dispel or other things. Combat 4, mostly to get Life Siphon, and trust me, almost every single like entry on this list has either Combat 4+ or Support 4+, just so they can get Life Siphon or Wrath, because they're two highly important abilities to have no matter where you are in the game. Machinist 5 and Shooter 5. Shooter 5 is not as necessary in Sid Hayes, but I'm putting Shooter 5 just in case. Like, just in case they actually do end up putting Shooter onto Sid Hayes. And this is a character I will expect them to have sooner or later. So, it's either Sid Hayes, or the next entry on this list, Izayoi from 4. Now, Izayoi from 4, she's, out of the Emblem 4, she's the most popular one. And granted, she's not that good in After Years. She does do pretty cool stuff, like, considering she is. But I never play After Years, so who am I to care? So her main weapon will be a whip, because she does a lot of different stuff with whips, considering bands with other female characters that also use whips, so she's a whip user. And she will be a ninja because she's part of the Diablo 4, and which makes sense being ninjas. Now, I wanted her to be White 4, Clarity 5, Ninja 5, Dancer 5. Dancer 5 is for a specific reason because, according to the FF Wiki, she has this thing in which she needs to be a quote-unquote killer seductress, even though she doesn't want to be called like a woman. But if you're going to be a, you know, a seductress, it would make sense to have some dancer, or at least bard, but dancer makes more sense, onto her. Of course, she's a ninja. And White 4, because even she does heal. Out of the Diablo 4 and Edge, she's the healer, even though she's not as good as other healers. So that's why you don't see her that much in, you know, regular FF4 after years parties, because, hey, if Porom and Rosa are in your party and they're both excellent healers, why even have a third? And especially if someone's inferior. So that's Isayoi. I completely expect her to be in the game, and if they're gonna put different ability schools into Isayoi or put the same ones I mentioned but in, like, different number, fine. But I expect her to be in the game. 5. Here's a character from my list that I did mention, and is still on my list of characters I want in the game. Calgar from 5. He is, as you can see in the picture, having done so do it now. He's like a beast man. So it's kind of cool to have a beast man here. So, and for a beast man, he doesn't show to have any kind of weapons. So I'd say his main thing will be fists. That's his main weapon type. And considering his signature move is called the lupine attack, which seems like circling around parts, like even using after images, it makes perfect sense for his main ability skill to be clarity. Then that has all to do with speed. So his things will be combat 5, support 4, so we have both options between Life Siphon and Wrath. Clarity 5, Dragoon. Now, why have Dragoon 5 in here, considering we have quite a few Dragoons? The thing is, even if we have a few Dragoons, we only have Gilgamesh as the main Dragoon, and I thought Broadsword had Dragoon, but he doesn't. Gilgamesh has Dragoon, but he's not his main class Dragoon. It's like Dragoon 4 to Dragoon 5. So I want him to be like a main Dragoon, because if you think about it, he's like Beast Man. I think it's like part wolf. So it'd be cool is to see him jump around, right? It probably makes sense, and Dragoon's main thing's to jump. So I would say have Dragoon 5 in there. And also have T5 because, I don't know, I feel like it would make sense for a speedy guy. So yeah, Calgar, Fist, Com 5, Support 5, Clarity, Dragoons, D5. Alright, next up, 6. Now, FF6, I think every single important character is in the game already. I think it's really hard, like, not to put a 6 character. Because the problem with FF6 of adding new characters is that nearly every single niche from 6 has already been done. Who the heck am I going to put for 6, given that every ability school has been covered by at least one character? I'm gonna say, who else? Because there aren't that many other characters. I mean, I could put the Emperor, what's his name? But I guess, for the sake of, might as well, let's put Bannon on here. And let's just have Black 5, White 5. Like, Black 5, White 5, and you have, like, either Combat 4 or Support, like, or some access to Wrath or Life Siphon. One of the two. Because there aren't any characters that are both Black 5 and White 5, or Black 6, White 6, if you have the, you know, things, but that's not important. In FF6 realm, so let's just have Black White, perfect Black White onto one character from 6. Why not? I guess I don't know. FF7. Now, FF7 has a character that I put in here that it's on a game that you can play as. However, it has not been mentioned any time else. It's a very obscure character. But first, I did put Genesis onto the FF7 realm on the list that I had, but for the purpose of this list, I'm going to assume that he's going to be playable eventually. So let's have a character that, another character that I have on the list that I have not, I mentioned here, Cisne. Now Cisne, it's kind of easy. I mean, her main thing is a giant shuriken, so thrown weapon. And her main ability skill will be Shooter. And her I guess ability skill would be Support 4, again, for the obvious. Clarity 3, because why not? Machinist, I don't know why Machinist could be, because most Turks are. Or a lot of the Turks are Machinists. And Shooter 5, because she throws stuff. And now for the hidden thing. Now, there's a game called Before Crisis at Final Fantasy VII where Cissnei originally came from. And as I was looking at Cissnei and figure out what ability school do I want her to have, I looked into other characters that are playable, and they come across this guy who kind of looks cool, and his main weapon's a katana, who doesn't really have a name. However, they supposedly there's like some sort of like anime or whatever about Before Crisis that has Before Crisis characters, and his name is Balto. So for the purposes of this character, let's call him Balto, not the dog. So let's call him Balto. Well, it's originally Katana male because you can name him. So his name's Balto. His main name's a Katana because that's part of his name. That's part of the name before you name him. Samurai, of course, is his main class, and the ability class will be Spellblade 5 because while FF7 already has Spellbladers, to some extent, they're all on like Spellblade 3. So, and I guess Cloud has some Spellblade in him, but let's have a Spellblader as like a big important Spellblader. Combat 4 because a Turk. Support 5 because he doesn't really do much. He doesn't really show up much else. He's just there to help out. So I guess it's justified him to support 5. Knight 3 because I don't know. It just makes sense for someone like him to be a knight, but not too much. So let's give him like the draw fogger, but that's it. And Samurai 5 is the main class. That's it. FF8. Now, FF8 was hard because I was going to put a certain character in it, but he got his butt revealed in close enough. So Kyros is already been revealed and Ward is already revealed. So that's every character that people gets a darn. Except for one. Now, since every single character, except for one, it's already revealed to be in the FF8 realm, who else? The one character that's left. Alright. Let's do the one character left. Sid Kramer! Yeah, let's do Sid Kramer. He doesn't fight, but hey, he's kind of an in charge guy, so let's give him support 5. Let's make him his main school. And hey, let's make him wield a gun. Cause like, hey, I mean, if you're gonna be the headmaster, you might have to protect yourself with something, right? I mean, granted, I don't know what else he would do because he doesn't fight. So let's make him some random stuff like maybe like machinist or even dark or even summon. Because considering the things that's students he has, they all can summon, or even have like monk in there, or dragoon. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Ultimisia. Okay, Ultimisia. Now, here's the thing about her, right? Given Edea and the things she can do, I think it makes much more sense. And I think that's what they're gonna go for. To be honest, I think they're gonna go for this, to put Ultimisia as more of a costume for Edea, because the few characters have costumes, by the way. Have a sort of costume for Edea instead of putting her a separate character. Because if you really think about it, I believe she's the last character that's on Dissidia that is not on Record Keeper. Since every other character from Dissidia, even your arcade games, is on Record Keeper already. Even Prish. Jeez. If Prish can get there before you, what the heck is wrong with you? But for the purposes of, let's say, putting Edea as a separate character, her main weapon is Rod, due to her main weapon being Rod in Dissidia. And, of course, magic-related ability schools, because that's her thing. Oh, but let's have a shooter in there, like, granted Shooter 4, not much, but whatever. Black 5, which, obvious. White 3, because she can do spell. There's like a glitch. There's not a glitch. If you can hack the game on the final battle to have your opponents be invincible, apparently, Ultimisia can check this and use Dispel to prevent this hack from being done. So I'm kind of glad that, after reading that, I was like, wow, the developers actually thought of this. Point is, Black 5, White 3, Summon 5 due to her connection with Griever. Dancer! Now, Dancer? What the frig, Dancer? Well, here's the thing, there are no dancers in FF8 realm, so let's either have this niche to have Dancer in there, since no one else has Dancer, and no one else in 8 fits the role of a dancer, so let's have someone be a dancer. Ultimecia Dancer. Shooter 4, due to her abilities in the city, I'd be mostly about shooting. Like, mostly in shooting axes, shooting, magic darts, shooting lances, that sort of thing. So, Shooter 4. Not Shooter 5, because I think it's not necessary. And finally, the main ability school, Witch 5. I think that makes sense for it to be Witch, to be her main ability school. Because that's what Ultimecia is. Aren't sorcerers supposed to be witches? Burn the witch! I. 9! Surprisingly, they added a new character for 9 just recently, I think about a few months ago. And I was scared that they would add the character that I wanted in it. So, because I actually thought that they would add the character I wanted. But it turns out that they did not add the character I wanted, and that was good because therefore I would have had a harder time picking on a character for 9. So, for 9, I decided to put the character named Lonnie. Now, Lonnie is Amaranth's, I guess, partner before he joins the party. And you get a boss battle with her. And yes, the boss battle with Lonnie is actually in Record Keeper, so there is a sprite of her as a boss in Record Keeper already. So, and since FF9 is no... I guess FF9 and other FFs have no trouble having your playable character fighting themselves, like Beatrix then was a big example, because you can have Beatrix as a playable character. And in a lot of FF9 events, you fight Beatrix, so I don't see the big deal here. Her main weapon's an axe, because that's what the weapon she wields. She looks like freaking Lexia's axe thing, if you ask me. Now, I looked at the FF Wiki, and the FF Wiki really hammers in the fact that she can use black magic, despite having her an axe. So, Black 5 would be her main ability school. Even though it probably make more sense if her main ability school would be like Thief, because she's a bounty hunter, or Combat, because she actually has more strength and magic according to the stats of her boss fight. But hammers on the black, so let's put on the black. Black 5, Combat 5, Thief 4, Ninja 4. Again, due to the whole bounty hunter thing, would make sense for her to be more of sneaky and try to steal things. Or kill things. Now, the reason why I think this is cool, now, I specifically wanted Black 5, I think it'd be cool, because it'll make her a magic and physical oriented character. Because she will not be the first character to be more focused on both types of attack. For example, like Vayne and Onion Knight are both characters that can be either mages or physical users, depending on what you put into their movesets, and their soul breaks reflect that they can either do one or the other with no problem. So I think Lonnie here would be something similar. And considering that I believe it was Golbez that could also equip axes, so I think it will be a really cool thing to have Golbez and like Lonnie have like share more of the same types of equipment, so that if you have one, you can benefit the other too. 10, LeBlanc. I mentioned her already, and again, it's really hard to put LeBlanc because I have no idea what to put for her, to be honest. I can't decide between Black 4 or Black 5 for her, because she does lightning things, so probably she'll be a lightning focused character. So Black 4 or Black 5. Let's, for the sake of her main ability school to be Witch 5, let's pick her Black 5, I guess. Her main weapon's a rod, by the way. And have support 5, or I don't know what summon. It's not a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Thief 5, Dancer 4, because again, there's no dancers in. I think there are dancers in 10. I think Riku counts as one dancer, but it's probably Yuna's not counted as a dancer. That's weird. Or if she is, I probably didn't notice, or the thing's very outdated. But dancer, because why not? So it needs to have that filled up. Yeah, Riku's a dancer, so if you don't want Riku, let's have LeBlanc in there. And Witch 5, that's her main class. FF11, I've never played 11 before, so I chose a character that, according to the FF Wiki, is one of the more popular characters aside from Prish and Shantoto. It's a character named Liliset. she's a dancer. So the obvious thing to do is put her as a dancer, a main dancer, and her weapon the dagger, because apparently, according to some of her artwork, she does wield daggers. So why not? Support 5, Combat 3, because I don't think she would fight much. Clarity 4, Bard 5, because hey, Bard and dance together is a really good idea, right? And considering FF11 is very barren when it comes to ability schools, considering there are very few characters in it. It's like a very sense to have like a giant support character in there. So Lisette definitely fills in the big supporting role, having buffs, debuffs, other supportive moves like breakdowns, do things fast. 12, easy 12. Liud from Revenant Wings, easy. He's a Dragoon. Like, this makes it super easy. Make him wield a spear. Summoner 5, even though he's a physical character, because hey, there's like one of the character Lan who's a physical character and does summon 5, but he has summon 5 mostly due to the game he's in and not necessarily how good he would be with it. Since Revenant Wings is all about the summons. It's 1% about the summons, because it's more of a real-time strategy that involves a lot of having a lot of characters on screen. So, and World of Final Fantasy has a lot of summons because they're as a part of the gameplay. So, summon 5 for the sake of the game he's in. Support 5 because of course. Combat 5 because of course. Dragoon 5 because that's his class. And Dark 5. Now, I'm wondering why I have Darkness class in here. Now, I checked out a lot of his different abilities involve him sacrificing HP for something, and that's something that Darkness is pretty much full of. It's here full of having Doom on yourself and full of losing HP on yourself for something. Also, Combat has something like that too. I think Combat has a move that loses your HP for something, so that's why I have Combat in there too. And Support, because actually a lot of his moves are support in nature, so that's why I put Support 5 and Combat 5 together, so he makes sense. So I put Liud's Spear. All his abilities make sense for what he does in combat, what he does this thing. And even though Dragoon 5 is his main class and his Soulbrick should focus on it, I think his Soulbrick actually should be more focused on support than Dragoon, even though he's main Dragoon. Due to, again, his moves evolving a lot more supportive stuff. But Dragoon, because he's a freaking Dragoon, why not? 13! Now I was going to put Yagrosh, but I decided against it because I have no idea what to pull for him. He's like, I don't know. I've never played 13. How the heck does I know what he's like? I don't know what kind of weapon he has. I don't know what kind of abilities he would have. I looked at the wiki, he's not even fightable. So how the heck should I know? But instead, I put a different character. Lebro, the beginning of 13. She's one of Snow's group, Nora, I believe. And she's basically the Charla of the game. Heck, she looks like Charla. So let's make her Charla. So Will's guns, that's her main thing. I was gonna put her main class be White Mage, but let's not. So let's put her main class Shooter, and I put Machinist in there too because I don't know why. Just because Machinist doesn't mean she's a shooter another way around, but a lot of Machinist skills do involve shooting things. So like Rapid Fire is a Machinist skill, not a shooter skill. So I'm putting her on Machinist too because due to how the abilities of that Machinist work. White Mage 4 because even though she doesn't use white magic per se, she does like healing potions. But I'm classing her right anyway. She's Charla, so I'm putting her like Charla. Combat 4, Support 4 because that's kind of her role. Machinist 5 and Shooter 5. There you go. Basically the Charla of Final Fantasy. FF14. This was going to be an easy one. It was going to be easy. But then, Square Enix decided to make this complicated, and now we have the 14 character. Now, the easy character would be Estinian. Now, the reason I put Estinian as an easy choice because of a certain fangirl of Estinian who I follow on Twitter, who would post like 70% of her content about Estinian, if not more so. No, I think it's about like 90%-ish. Estinian content, and I was thinking, okay, this is too easy. So, because like I follow someone on Twitter who loves Estinian more than life itself, I was like, okay, I'm gonna put Estinian there. He's a Dragoon. He does all the Dragoon stuff. I don't know what else other than Dragoon. Maybe Combat. Maybe I don't know, Ninja because he just trains and doesn't want anyone to know about it. Because that makes sense, I guess. But no, they decided hey, we're gonna release this dude. We're gonna release this dude as part of the sort of like collab event thing with 14 Stormblood. That's actually going, I think, just past or something. I know it's still going on right about now. It's gonna release in August in Japan next. Yeah. And I'm like, crud. This is gonna be easy, but it wasn't because he's already released. So now what? So I, like, some time ago, actually went to Reddit, and I thought to myself, okay, if I have no idea what to put, let's see what the people in Reddit know. And I got across some pretty nice options, but for the purpose of me doing this pretty quickly, let's do Alphinaud's sister, Elisei or Elisei? I don't know how to pronounce her name. Now, she's a red mage, and due to be a red mage, it makes sense to have, like, not perfect black and white, maybe like black 4, white 4, which is just good enough. And maybe record out black 5, I don't care. However, her main thing will be Spellblade. I've heard like a comment on Reddit saying that she'd be a good Spellblader, so let's put her main Spellblade. So Spellblade is her main thing, wield sword. Let's have combat in there, I guess. If not, you could drop combat. You could drop combat. And have knight abilities. Like, up to 4. 4 is enough. There you go. That's that girl. Although, maybe wondering how they're going to implement this girl, considering the fact that she and Alpha almost looks exactly alike. And now 15. Now, I was going to put Cindy for it. However, I was going to put a machinist, shooter, that sort of thing. However, the problem is that I checked again, and it sees that Prompto already has this in check. So, there's no... And his main ability is machinist. So, there is no real reason for me to have another machinist in the FF15 realm. So I went with someone else. So I looked up in the FF Wiki who else in 15 should be playable Record Keeper, and I came across a character named Corleonis. Now I don't know if he's revealed or not. If he is, then shoot me or something. Maybe he is, but I just don't realize it. Let's say he's not, and let's get it over with. Actually, I'm gonna need to check. Okay, I checked and he's not. Okay. So, he's a samurai. Let's end of story. Yeah, too much end of story. Let's not make him have too much. Let's have Corleonis, Katana, main school samurai, and also have combat 5, knight 5, that's it. Simple as that. And yeah, let's make him a simple samurai, but I guess it's kind of character who he would be. There you go. I don't know to the point, because it doesn't make any sense to put a random samurai as something else. And if you guys, people who play 15, think there's a better ability for him, like some of the ability school he will have, leave it in the comments if you care. Whatever. Moving on. Now, let's go from a character I don't give a darn about to a character I give way too much of a darn about. So for the tactics realm, I'm going to put the characters on my number 1 on the character I want for Record Keeper. Ultimate the High Seraph. Now, I think it would be easy. She'll be a mostly magic user. However, after looking at her other moves for a bit, she doesn't learn that many moves, surprisingly enough. She just does like lots of like high damage, non-elemental magic. So Black 5, her main thing is Black 5 done, and her main weapon is a rod, because sure. Although she could equip something else, she could equip a fist, because one of her passives is do more damage if you're unarmed. So rod or fist, maybe like one or both of those will be her main weapon type, and probably more focus on it. So Black 5, White 5, because let's face it, if you're gonna have the ultimate mage, let's have that. Summon, even though let's say summon 4, not summon 5, because even though she herself does not summon, she herself is a summon. Like considering well, not her exactly, but like the other kind of Ultima, the character is a summon. So, and she controls the Lucavi, which themselves are more or less summons in the other games. So she herself is a summon. So let's her have some summoner in her. Maybe not summon 5. She could have summon 5, sure. Monk 5. Now when we have Monk 5 in there, again, she could do physical attacks, and they are boosted by her passive. And I was thinking about Shantotto, and how Shantotto is mainly black, but she also has Monk 5, even though it makes no sense. Like, if you think about it, why she would have Monk skills? Monk's a really physical thing, so why put it on basically one of the best mages in the game? I don't know, but let's have her Monk 5. Just to appease her one passive she has. Ninja 3. Mostly because she also has another passive that makes things have 0 charge time. And Ninja's thing, granted with clarity, Ninja's thing is that have like really short charge times. Again, she herself does not do ninja skills. Although it'd be cool if she had Ninja 5, I think Ninja 3 is enough to make sense on her. And finally, Witch 5 because it makes way too much sense on her. Kinda like Ultimisia. Okay, finally, let's go to Tactics Advance. Cause I don't know if that's a zone realm, but if it is, big zone realm. Now, we already have Marche playable. Marche and Montblanc playable. Awesome. Perfect. Now, next in line should be Luso, but let's not jump another game just yet. Let's go keep the FFTA for a bit, because we still have few other TA characters left. We still have Shara, we still have Judge Master Sid, we still have Mute, we still have Lednar, we still got Barris, Ezel, who else? I don't remember who else. Who else am I missing? But the main character I'm gonna put there is the, I guess. Oh, even Donut, but it doesn't really do much. So the last character I've mentioned. Let's do Ritz. Yes, we have Ritz. Now, I really like Ritz. She's a really awesome character. Now, in her game, well, not in her game, but you know what I mean. In FFTA, she jumps around classes quite a bit every time you fight her. Her main class is Fencer. However, over the course of the game, she ends up being more different classes. She ends up being a red mage at one point. She ends up being an elementalist at one point. And that's the canon times you fight her. And once you get her playable, she can become an assassin. She can become a summoner. She can be whatever. However, I think, because her base class and the class that you always see her start out as is a Fencer, I think makes sense for her main class to be Clarity. Because I think, because even though I think Red Mage would be her better class, but I think Clarity would be her main class, considering a lot of other things I have on her is physical, and her thing is Fencer. Because it's a Red Mage, Black 4 at best. I don't know if I'm gonna put White 4, mostly due to her other class being Elementalist, and that's pretty much entirely of elemental damaging moves, other than with other effects. Yes, some heal, but that's not important. So her main weapon is a sword, by the way, because most of the Vieira classes use rapiers, and that's a type of sword. Especially Ritz, that's the weapon she always used. So even though her artwork basically with a staff, so you would suggest White Mage in there, but nope. Main weapon's a sword. Black 4, Spellblade 5, for the same reason why I put that Alphanaught sister at Spellblade, because she's a Red Mage. And if you're wondering why it makes weird sense for a Red Mage to be a Spellblader, they've already released Scott from FF2, and he's a Red Mage in the game, but they put him as a Spellblader, because I guess it makes sense for him. His unique sword maximizes his magic stats. So Spellblader, Clarity 5 is her main thing, Combat 5 because of the things we can do with the rapier, and Ninja 5 because she could turn to an assassin. And assassins, rather, they're not exactly ninjas per se, but ninja skills also include stuff you probably would expect out of an assassin. So there you go. That's the Texas Advance Ritz. Now, finally, I'm going to talk about the Beyond Realm, the other things, the other class. Now, I played a lot of Brave Exvius, so I'm going to suggest doing Brave Exvius, the 3 Brave Exvius characters. The main part of the story. Now, I've came across Lid, but I don't know about who Sakura or Nicole are. I don't know who they are. I haven't gotten to that point yet. Although the game keeps making me think that I already have them in a party, but I don't know who they are. So anyway, Rain, Laswell, and Fina. Now, Rain, let's talk about the main character. His thing is sword. You can look at this giant sword. The Crimson Saber. This is pretty cool. Black 3, Combat 5, Knight 5, that's it, and his main class is Combat. There you go. I mean, he's an attacker, so... And I think Black 3, because him and Laswell both learn magic, they're just not very good at it. Simple as that. Rain's thing is Fire and Earth, so... I think his, if you do combat-related things, maybe you'll have, like a physical fire and earth damage. Or, I don't know if you can do Spellblades, too. Maybe you can put Record Die to Spellblade. I don't care. And Laswell, same thing. But That's him. So, and that's Rain. Laswell, because he's more samurai, he could with a katana. Samurai is his main class. Black 3, Combat 5, Samurai 5, and Samurai is his main thing. So similar to Rain, but a bit of a different thing. Now Fina's a white mage, and so it makes sense for a white mage to be her main class. Her weapon is the what call like reincarnation bow. So her main weapon's bow, which again helps her out considering Rosa is a bow wielding white mage. Although she'll be completely inferior to Rosa. Clarity 3 along with white mage. So Rosa has, I think it's like Clarity 1. And Witch 5 considering her, I guess her alter ego is Dark Fina, who is more of a black mage. But let's have her have Witch in there, so considering Dark Fina's existence. And there you go! That is all characters from each realm that I want in Record Keeper. It'll be awesome if they'll get released eventually, so we'll see when it happens when they show up. So, that is all, guys. See you guys later for something else.